Let me bring in my next guest now. It's Joe Siracusa, the Dean of Global Futures in the Faculty of Humanities at Curtin University, joining me live now from Perth in Australia. Thank you, sir, for joining us here on TRT World. So Israel hasn't actually followed this new UN resolution, instead continuing its attacks on Gaza. How do you think the U.S. is going to respond to this?
Well, good to see you too. Well, look, this is the beginning of the end of modern U.S.-Israeli relations. The Netanyahu government has constantly constituted, and the Biden government has constantly constituted, have gone their separate ways. That resolution, that's the first time in my lifetime, and I've lived through 14 presidents, where the United States didn't do what Israel wanted. And Israel and the United States wanted to make it very clear to Israel that they're on their own here. Now, it might be too late to save lives. It might be too late to save the American election for Joe Biden. It might even be too late to save Netanyahu's career. But this is a major departure in modern Israeli-American relations, and this represents what I'd call the break, and it's not coming back.
But the U.S. says there's been no change in U.S. policy. Do you actually think that this is an actual change, though?
Oh, yes, it is. Now, what the White House says and what the White House does, in my experience, have been two different things. You could walk it back all you want. But when the lady raised her hand and abstained in the vote today, she made it very clear to Israel that you're on your own. You can't do what you want. You can do what you want now in Rafah. You can do what you want with the hostages and the humanitarian assistance. The United States isn't going to be helping you any further. I mean, it was the ultimate pressure. Ultimate diplomatic pressure. And look, the White House is always walking things back. The trouble is once the arrow has left the bow, it ain't coming back. And so the damage is done. I don't care what anybody says to walk it back. These are now major issues. And, and if Netanyahu has his own way, America does not support the conquest of Rafah with firepower. It doesn't believe that Netanyahu's got the right idea about the two-state solution. I mean, Netanyahu's not on the same pages. In fact, even as we talk, they're selling occupied lands and lands in the occupied territory. So this is going off in two different directions. This is, of course, a great crisis for the great Jewish community and activated community in America. They don't know which way to go on this. And of course, for the Arab Islamic protesters in Minnesota and in Michigan, this is big news. I mean, this is the beginning of the end. They see that their pressure is working, and this is kind of a big day for Hamas because they actually got the Americans to vote in their favor, no matter what happens for the rest of today.
All right, really interesting to hear your thoughts as always. Joe Siracusa from Curtin University, thank you as always for joining us here on the News Hour at TRT World.
Okay, thank you.